Hi, how you going? I'm just doing this is a take two on my setup of my Axe Effects system that I use for gigs. I've had a lot of people messaging me and emailing me asking for patches and a little bit of info on what I do with what I do and all that sort of stuff. So I thought it'd be best just to give you another quick guided tour through how I set my system up. As well as walk through on how I set my patches up, and I'll post my patches up somewhere, either on my website or if I can do it, I might be able to do it on YouTube. I'll see if I can do that, just so you can download the patch that I use. I really only use one patch at any given time. What I find when new firmware updates come out, the sounds change a little bit. And what I do, I sort of overwrite the patches. So I've had a lot of people send me messages saying, can I have a patch from this video, but unfortunately I don't keep them. So what I can give you is what I'm using at the moment, and hopefully that'll give you a bit of an insight to the way that I approach my sounds and all that sort of stuff. So we'll get some screenshots happening of Axe Edit as I walk you through my patches and an approach to what I'm doing. My basic setup is I basically plug obviously straight into the Axe Effects, and then I've got a feed coming out to an in-ear system, and then I've got a feed going out to the PA, as well as a feed going out to my Laney cabinet, which you'll see in some of the shots in a minute. The reason why I do all that is because the guy that runs our sound likes to have that live cabinet sound, and what we do, I run the when possible I run a wet dry wet system, so the cabinet will have a dry signal going through it, maybe with a little bit of tremolo or a little bit of chorus for an effect. So that'll be basically dry, and then out of the direct signal I'm running these panning it hard left and right, which has got all my delays and reverbs and all that sort of rubbish in it. And yeah, sometimes we'll use a wireless in-ear system, and that I'll just take a belt pack from him. He'll give me a feed from his aux send on his desk, and then I'll run a wireless unit, which is the Audio Technica System 10, which is a really great unit, which you'll see in a minute. If we're in a smaller gig and they don't have facility to run the wireless in-ears, I will run a wide in-ear pack, because our drum is really loud, and I find my hearing has been suffering because of that, which I'm sure a lot of you other people can appreciate. Some drummers can be very loud. And what I do when I run a wide in-ear pack, I use this system called the Jump Audio belt pack, the IXM unit, which is a really good system, really simple. Basically what I do, it's a belt pack that sits in my belt pack. It's got a feed for my in-ears with a volume control on it, plus a input for my guitar. And what it does, it combines the stereo send that I'm getting from my little mixer in my rack up through this multi-pin connector. It's got like an XLR connector that connects on the top of it, and it splits out on the other end to two 1/4 inch. One is just a normal guitar jack, which is where my guitar signal is running through here, back down through the lead into the Axe Effects, and then the stereo feed from my desk is coming back through that same lead into here and then into my in-ears. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, that a very helpful tool. If you ever thought about wide in-ears, the quality of this is way better than any wireless unit that you could use, because you lose a bit through companding and all the stuff that happens with in-ear wireless in-ear gear. So yeah, look into Jump Audio, because they're really cool, really well made. Here's my little Yamaha mixer, which I use for my personal in-ear mix when we don't have an in-ear wireless in-ear system running through the PA. So it's mainly used for smaller gigs. What I've got here is on either side of rack I've got two condenser microphones hooked up to channel 1 and 2, and I normally pan those hard left and right to give me a little bit of a stereo image. It's just as ambient microphones. I run the Axifex into a stereo channel 7 and 8 here, and that's my volume control there, and obviously I've got a master control over the whole lot. And sometimes, generally I'll always try and get some sort of feed from the front of house as an auxiliary send from their desk, and I plug that into these channels. Sometimes I can get a stereo feed with two channels. I pan those hard right and left, or sometimes I'll just get a mono feed. Yeah, sometimes I'll also use this little Audio Technica. It's called System 10. It's a 2.4 gigahertz wireless receiver, and that works really good. Because it's digital, you don't lose any loss of tone or anything like that. It's really clear and does a really good job. Okay, what I do with my pedals, I run a few expression pedals and a little pedal for my tap tempo. This one here is a volume pedal that I put pre the amp simulator, so I can sort of dial in how much feed I went into that amplifier. So if I want to clean it up a bit, I'll back the pedal back. This one here is a mix for my delays, because I like to mix them in rather than having them switching on and off, so I can have full mix or just a little bit or nothing at all in the heel position. And this volume here is post amp sim, so I can have the amp fully dialed up with distortion and the whole thing, and just have the right appropriate volume going on here.